Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Look, I know. I said I was quitting this channel and you guys probably weren't expecting to see me again or hear from me again. But I promise this is the last one. I know. I've been saying last video, last edit, last post. I've been saying it for a while. But I felt like I couldn't just leave this. So I have to say something about it because I do not want my image to go out and for people to think of me as the wrong way. So while I was looking through the account before I logged off, I looked at I had to re-upload that thing I wanted to upload because there was like this edit I wanted to upload. But um I saw something today. So I didn't see it when it released. I only just saw it just now. But I saw someone and they were in one of my mutuals comments and they were saying things like, I mean, here's like the full thing that they were saying, but they were basically trying to accuse me of having bad intentions. Like they were trying to accuse me of that. They were like trying to say that my intentions are like, I don't know what they were exactly trying to say because they kind of typed up a bunch of nonsense. But it seems like that they were basically pulling apart like my wording, my language, and like how I talked in my video, trying to say that I don't know, like I don't know what they were trying to imply, like either that, oh my, hold on, I can't tell if they're trying to imply that I just want to be proven that I'm right or that my point is that, hold on, I can't tell if they're trying to say that or if they're trying to say that I don't have actual good intentions. I like kind of like comparing me to political people. I can't really tell what they're trying to accuse me of. But whatever they're trying to accuse me of, it seems like they're trying to accuse me of not actually caring about human suffering, not actually caring about victims. And I just wanted to come on here and say none of what they're saying is true, okay? Look, I know that I can come off very strong about things and I come off kind of aggressive and kind of angry, which is kind of also why I quit this channel because like I came on here to help survivors. I did not come on here to be aggressive. And the problem with me is that I have problems where I get very obsessed with things, which is why I suspect that I might have OCD. It does run in my family. Like, I think I might have DID, OCD. I think that those might be things I have. I do have CPTSD and I have mental delays. Like, I'm diagnosed with stuff like that. But people don't understand that I kind of got kind of obsessed with Melanie and I didn't really like that. So I decided to quit this channel to start a new life. And I wanted to kind of distance myself away from Melanie. I did, in fact, respond to this person's comments. Here are my responses right here. But it seems like people, they misunderstand what I was trying to do. And this is also kind of why I quit because, like, people thought I had intentions like that, and that is not true. The reason why I come off so like strong is because when I care about something, I will be aggressive about it. And sometimes, since I have mental delays, I'm not really the best at communicating things or getting things right. Um, I did have a really traumatic childhood, and when I was like in like learning grammar and stuff, I couldn't really understand, and because of my mental delay. So if my English is off and my wording is like weird, and I'm saying things that don't make sense entirely, that is because I did not learn grammar very well in first grade. And it's kind of embarrassing to admit it, but I was held back because of it. And I've already stated multiple times that I am not the best communicator. But I want to say that I do, in fact, care. And I have made posts being empathetic towards it. Like, if I really didn't have empathy towards human suffering, I wouldn't have left hotlines and like those little things, those psychology facts in my in my bio or whatever, but I just don't really like that people are attacking me. And even though some of these may not be fans or whatever, I don't like how people are intentionally attacking me and accusing me of things when they don't know me. The problem is that not everybody is going to react the same when they care about things. And I realize that some of this can lead to misinterpretations of someone's intentions, but it is because I care. Okay? I do care. And this is coming from someone who is a victim themselves. Okay? I had a lot of trauma growing up and I didn't have a lot of people supporting me through it. And people have accused me of lying and people have made stuff up about me and stuff. So I went when I saw this, like, I used to be a fan of Melanie, so I used to like, you know, I used to be a fan of her, so like I used to defend her too. I'm not gonna sit up here and lie. I mean, I should have just believed Timothy, but I had a bias for her. And now I support her now. It's just like it was very hard for me to break from Melanie. I actually got hospitalized. And that's the things that I don't tell the internet is that when I'm dealing with stuff like this, it is causing me to be hospitalized. I've been so overwhelmed to the point where I've been put in the hospital. That's how bad it was, which is why I am trying to step away from this. I'm trying to get away from it because, like, it is so stressful having to constantly argue with people online. It is so stressful having to constantly debunk things that people say. And a lot of my community posts, I would do stuff like that, but I deleted a lot of them because I'm trying to move on from this. But when I see comments like this, it's kind of upsetting because, like, it's not true. It's like I don't like it when people make assumptions and then try to pull apart your words and speech. Like, just because somebody is talking funny or using words like y'all, or I'm gonna try to make more content about this, that does not mean that they don't care. It quite literally means the opposite. It means that they're making more content about it because they do care. If I really didn't actually care about victims, I would not feel the need to make this. Because the thing about me is if I don't care about something, I don't talk about it. And that's the thing is that y'all need to stop assuming you know people because at the end of the day, I'm an online person. You don't know me. You don't know who I am. You don't know what I've been through. You don't know what I've personally had to experience. And that's why when I see comments like, you're just doing it for fame, you're just hopping on a hate train, you don't actually care about victims, you're just, you just want to talk badly about Melanie, you just hate Melanie. None of that's true. None of it. Because I literally used to be you. I used to defend her. I used to listen to her music. I used to want to, I don't know, like I used to just love her music. I was a huge fan and a huge defender. Sorry, I had to pause because I was burping. But I used to be like that. And this person, like, they're just not actually watching my content. I make my intentions pretty clear through my work. I state my reasonings. I make it clear why I'm so aggressive. I state why I don't talk like everybody else. And people still accuse me of doing things I'm not doing. Y'all don't know me, bro. Y'all don't get to say what my intentions are. You don't get to pull apart my words just like how you don't get to pull apart Timothy's. And that's a problem is that people think if you care about something, you act a certain way. I have in fact made posts like that, but I've deleted them. I made a post like completely irrelevant to Melanie and I made a post where I was like giving all the details and stuff about how survivors are. That is showing empathy. That's spreading awareness. Me making posts like that is spreading awareness. Me putting the links down, the hotlines, it's spreading awareness. Me debunking things, spreading awareness. Me making content on it, spreading awareness. Me calling you blind delusional, technically, that's not spreading awareness, but that's just how I feel. Like, I'm allowed to say things like, you guys are being blind, because you technically are. You are defending someone saying the absence of no is consent, and I don't stand by that. And it's kind of giving that this person's mad because, like, I'm saying that I don't I'm just saying the facts and I'm saying why I don't support her. So they're just like, let me just nitpick their body language. Well, not their body language, but let me nitpick their language so I can accuse them of not having good intentions. Which, by the way, you cannot do that. Just like with Timothy, you cannot do that. You cannot say that's not how that works. You don't have to like my content. You don't even have to believe what I'm saying, okay? If you don't agree with it, okay. But there's no reason to harass me for it. All right? And that's the problem, is that when anyone wants to speak out against a celebrity and anyone wants to speak out against politicians or something big, people are so quick to jump the gun and assume that you just want to do it for fame and attention and you just want to prove a point. And they don't actually realize that everyone's different. Sure, there's probably some people who are antis who are so fast to like jump on it for fame. And I'm not trying to diss anybody, but Coco Crazy or whatever their name is, they're kind of an example of someone who just makes Melanie content to just talk about. But if any Timothy supporters or anyone who isn't a Melanie fan, and I can admit that I kind of did jump the gun on that one a little bit, where I was like, oh, this is proof the person's a Melanie fan. I can admit that I kind of shouldn't have done that, but it is true that a lot of people who do that are usually Melanie fans into hiding, though. However, I realized that that probably wasn't a good thing to say still. But I was just really upset, and sometimes I kind of overreact a bit. Like, I'm not saying that excuses my actions, but I have like a lot of anger issues, and a lot of people don't know that. I mean, I guess you could kind of tell I do, but I'm kind of a sensitive individual. I kind of overreact to things. I can't really handle stuff like this, which is exactly why I'm quitting. I really wanted to help people. I wanted to help survivors, like, but like I just can't, because like I get too obsessed. I've been talking way too much about Melanie on here, and I have given the wrong impression to some people. Some people don't understand my intentions, and they're accusing me of doing stuff without actually knowing me, and it's upsetting, and people are so fast to do that, and it's really sad. Like, I don't know if this person's a fan or not, but I'm just saying that y'all really need to stop jumping to conclusions and assuming just because someone's kind of aggressive or someone's going to make content in it, that means that they don't really care. That's not true. That is not true at all. I make content because I care. I have made posts about caring. I have made posts about empathy. I think I've shared some of my own experiences, but I do in fact care. It's just like when Danielle makes her videos and people accuse her of not actually caring because she comes off kind of headstrong and she comes off aggressive. People are so fast to accuse her of using it for drama or fame, and that's not true. I do care. I hope Timothy is okay. I hope she's all right. Which is another reason why I'm not making videos like this anymore, because like I don't want Timothy to constantly drag through this. But hold on, I gotta yawn. Yeah, I used to do this for Hana Katana. Um, I have expressed plenty of empathy the best way I can, and not everybody expresses empathy the same way, and that's the problem. Is that people think that everyone has to do something a certain way or else they're lying. And that's exactly what y'all do to Timothy. Y'all be saying she's lying about her essay because her body language, she laughs sometimes and she sometimes, doesn't act like you're ideal, but that's the problem. You stereotype people. And I just come off aggressive about things I care about. With my ideas, with the things I care about, I come off headstrong, I come off aggressive, I come off blunt because it's just who I am. It doesn't mean that I don't care about survivors, because I don't do it in the way you ideally see me as. And you do not have the right to pull apart my language and use that as a way to say that I'm don't care. You don't have any evidence that I would be lying. Why would I lie about that? There's no reason to. There's no reason for me to lie about my intentions. Okay, one thing you need to know about me is from everyone who knows me in person, except for some of the haters, because some of the haters might try to say otherwise. But most people who actually know me in person, they will tell you I'm one of the most honest people you'll meet. I'm honest. I basically never lied. I mean, of course, sometimes I've probably lied in my life, but everyone has, right? But like, I'm one of the most honest people, okay? I would never just lie, and I would never just do something for fame or attention or a hate train. That's not who I am. If that was who I am, I would have been shitting on the KSI song. You know that song everyone was shitting on? I wasn't shitting on it. I think everyone was overreacting when they hopped on that hate train. And that also proves my point. Is it has nothing to do with hopping on a hate train. And I'm trying my best to stay calm this time because people take aggression the wrong way. And I can admit that that's kind of my fault. I haven't exactly been the best at what I do. I come off very aggressive, and I also haven't been really, but it's just like that's just how I am as a person. It doesn't mean that I don't have good intentions or that I don't care about human suffering or violence. Like, if I didn't care about that, I wouldn't have done all that research. I wouldn't have been trying to make that doc. It's like if I don't care about Mr. Beast drama, I'm not going to talk about it. There's plenty of other situations I could talk about for fame. If I really cared about fame and attention, I would have been talking about just about anything I could find on the internet if that was really the case. And the fact that I'm quitting also says something because, like, people who want fame and attention, they don't care about negativity. They just want fame. It's like when y'all try to accuse Timothy of wanting fame because she used to say she was famous. Like, y'all are so quick to accuse people. And me saying y'all doesn't prove anything either. That is just how I talk. Like, I don't know why people got an issue with me. I mean, you don't have to agree with everything I said. I said that in one of my videos. But at the same time, you don't have the right to accuse me of having bad intentions because you don't like it. I mean, my intentions are the same as Danielle's. When she made that video responding to 8 people accusing her of doing that she wasn't, trying to accuse her of victim blaming, hypocrisy, all that. That's kind of how I feel right now. Is how she felt. Kind of sensitive, kind of hurt, kind of shocked because her intentions was clearly to spread awareness and stuff. That's how I feel. That was my intentions too. And since I came off headstrong, aggressive, blunt, people want to put words in my mouth that I never said. And this, I'm not even gonna lie, this is kind of hurtful. And this is exactly why I ended up in the fucking hospital. Because, like, people stress me out with this. And I have been pretty overwhelmed with things I've been dealing with in person. And I also got assaulted in the hospital and stuff. And, I don't really want to talk about it. But, like, I have to quit this channel for that reason. But I already wanted to quit this channel before I saw those comments. But I mostly am just making this video to clear up misunderstandings. A lot of people don't get me. They don't understand me because they don't know me. But one thing you need to know about me is that that's just how I am when I care about things. I don't cry, I don't sob, I don't go around saying we need more empathy because not everyone reacts that way to things they care about, okay? Not everybody's the same. Some people come off aggressive and be like, here's my point on why we should believe. That's just how some people are. That doesn't mean that I'm like all those other people who don't actually care because I don't cry about it. I mean, I kind of feel like crying now, but like at the same time, I don't like to show vulnerability because I've been hurt because of vulnerability. So I try to come off that way on purpose. I just feel triggered and upset when I see people say things like, She's lying because of her body language. She's lying because they're females. Girl on girl action is okay. Things like this is just like, I mean, not girl on girl action, because girl on girl action could be consensual. I mean, girl on woman sexual abuse. Like, when I see things like this, it's very triggering. It's very upsetting. Okay, it's triggering to me. It's upsetting to me as a survivor, and I had to hear a lot of people say similar things to me. And I've stated this before. I've heard people say stuff like that to me. And when I see people use these victim blaming things, talking about how she should have said no and stuff, like all this stuff, it's triggering and it's upsetting, which is exactly why I'm quitting this channel. And sorry if my voice sounds a little weird. I'm kind of shaken up a bit, but I'm just saying that because, like, people don't get that, like, I didn't have a childhood that was normal. Okay, I didn't learn grammar, I didn't learn stat. That's why I type like a fucking child. If you haven't noticed, I'm not good with punctuation. I'm not good with certain words. I'm not good with certain things. And this is why I have to quit and stuff. And I think that people don't get that the main reason why I'm quitting is because it's triggering. It's because it's upsetting. I wanted to spread awareness, but one, people are misinterpreting my intentions and thinking that I'm just hopping on a hate dream like Coco Crazy. And two, some people just aren't listening. And three, triggering and upsetting to me. Melanie is a triggering topic. Melanie is triggering and she triggers me, and a lot of the things she did back then, I never said it because I knew Melanie fans were going to get mad at me, but when she did the stuff she did in her art, like when she was, doing that stuff, I kind of got upset a little bit, but I thought, oh, maybe she's just doing it for awareness and doesn't know what she's doing. But I kind of did feel triggered. I did feel kind of upset. Like, her fans had just trying to defend her actions. Like, they were trying to use artistic expression, freedom of speech as an excuse, which, by the way, that does not excuse anything. Okay? Like, freedom of speech and artistic expression can apply to anything, and that includes pornographic material. And just because it's artistic choice doesn't mean we can't criticize it. And artistic expression does not mean that someone's not sexualizing something. It absolutely can be sexualization and still be artistic expression. And that's something that people don't really understand, is just because it's her artistic choice does not mean we have to agree with it. But anyways, this video is not really about stuff like that. I was going to respond, but I don't know, man. I don't feel like it anymore. Like, I just don't want to deal with Melanie like this. I'll let karma take its course because I already know something's going to happen. All right. Melanie has slipped up plenty of times, and I believe that justice will come when it comes, because the truth always comes out. And I don't have to keep talking about this. There are plenty of people who are out here talking about Timothy, talking about it, and trying to advocate for her, and I don't really have to do it anymore. And I'm kind of like, not really the exact reason, but Idy Switch, I think, also quit because it was exhausting for her. Not really because she was exactly overwhelmed, but because it was just exhausting and the hate was annoying. But for me, it's more of the fact that the hate is triggering, all right? The hate is triggering, the false accusations are triggering, the victim blaming is triggering, everything is just triggering. And I just can't be a victim advocate. I'm not good at it. I mean, I have some good points, but at the same time, like, people just don't get it. Like, either people listen or people are so fast to just be like, you're just trying to prove a point and you don't actually care if someone's suffering. Like, that is not true at all. Like, no. I don't know why people accuse, like, victim advocates and people who are, like, against Trump of always doing that. Like, it is so common for people to be so quick to falsely accuse you of something than to actually listen to what you're saying. And I know some of this is my fault because of some of the wording I use and how I phrase things and how I talk, but this is just how I talk because this is how I make it make sense to myself. And as I mentioned before, like as I mentioned in these replies, I got an issue with communication. I have mental delays. So if I don't say everything to your ideal standard or things that make sense, that is why. And that is something to put in consideration. I'm not the best communicator, all right? I'm not really the best when it comes to talking about these things. I sometimes have a bit of a word salad or like I kind of jamble things around and stuff. Yes, I want to prove my point, but I want to prove my point so you believe a victim. That's kind of what my thoughts were. My thoughts were like I was kind of obsessed with it. I'm not gonna lie. That's why I didn't really get mad when people said stuff like that. But I was like obsessed with the idea of getting people to believe victims. I was like, I'm gonna get people to stop supporting Melanie to help believe Timothy because I care about her and I hate seeing her in pain. That was what my thoughts were. Now, I'm not saying that that was healthy or that was good, but that's why I came off so headstrong. That's why I'm like, here's my point. I'm going to make a document, this and that, because I wanted to help her. I was obsessed with that. I was obsessed with that, just like how with Hana Katana, I was obsessed with making that video. I was like, I'm going to make this video. I'm going to make this thread on Twitter because I don't have that account anymore. But I was like, I'm going to make this Twitter thread talking about sex trafficking to help her. Oh, they go by they, them now. But that back then they went by she, her still. But that's why I said that in that phrase because that's how I thought back then. Now it's they, them, but I wanted to help them. So I made videos about Say to Gemini. I wanted to help them. If I truly wanted to just do this for fame and hate train, first of all, I would have been talking about other things on here that were fame drama related because that's what someone who's famous wants to do, who wants to like get fame from that does. Like, yes, there is a part of me that does want to be famous, but not from this. Not from this. No. I would never want to get famous off this. I do want people to see it because I want people to realize, hey, your idol isn't who you think she is. But I don't want people to see me as someone that just wants to prove a point or just wants to chop on a hate train. That's not my intentions. And I'm sorry for being so aggressive about it before. I do apologize for that, which is probably why some of you were like, well, you attacked this person because they said that, yeah, I probably shouldn't have been so headstrong about that. Like when I said, oh, this person's a Melanie fan, because the only reason why I thought this person was a Melanie fan was because of, like I said earlier, I shouldn't repeat all of it, but it was because, like, a lot of Melanie fans do say that, by the way. But you do not get to tell people that you know what their mindset is because you've seen some people act that way because everyone is different. Okay, I shouldn't have to repeat that. And as for my repetitiveness, that is something that a lot of people do when they have trauma. It's a known symptom, unhealthy coping mechanism. And the reason why I feel need to repeat stuff is because I feel like people are going to misunderstand me if I don't. And it's technically a coping mechanism, a lot of the things I say. And I can admit that I probably shouldn't have been so aggressive to say things like, you're blind. That probably wasn't nice. I can admit that, all right? That like I've said before in some of my past posts, I have actually said before, if you actually looked at some of my content, I have in fact said, hey, I come off a little too aggressive. I admit that, which shows that I care. Someone who wouldn't care wouldn't feel the need to get hot-headed about it. Because the thing is that, like, the fact that I get so mad when I see victim blaming, it kind of says something to you. Like someone with the intellectual ability to tell someone's intentions, they would have looked at that and been like, okay, maybe she just doesn't know how to communicate. Maybe she feels aggressive because she's taking it as in like, well, I've heard stuff like this, so this upsets me. That's what an intellectual person would think. Not saying, oh, since she's getting kind of aggressive and saying things like y'all are blind, that means that she's lying about her intentions and she doesn't actually care about victims of sexual abuse. Like, guys, of course I'm aggressive. I grew up experiencing constant sexual abuse throughout my childhood. Okay? I would not lie about that. And if you're trying to accuse me of lying about that, shame on you. And that is victim blaming. You cannot say someone is lying because you don't want to believe them and you don't like them. But of course, I'm going to be mad, aggressive, angry when I see things like that because I've had to hear similar things. So, of course, I'm going to get upset. Of course, I'm going to get mad. Of course, I'm going to be a little irrational. Of course, I'm going to be emotional. It's normal. There's nothing wrong with that. And I can admit that I should have probably been a little more chillax and responded with more calm because no one wants to listen to someone who's angry. But like, I'm not the best at communicator. I'm not the best at showing my intentions. The best way I can show I care is by being defensive. When I wanted to protect other people, I got up and I stood up in front of them to protect them. This is a school reference, but I do care. Okay? As someone who was sexually abused throughout their childhood, I do care. Okay? I do. I know that it may seem hard to believe, but it's just kind of messed up that people would rather just accuse you of something than just like actually look at what you're saying. Like, I don't know why people are just like bitter and nasty and mean, and they always want to like look at somebody and judge them and be like, well, look at how they're speaking, look at how they're talking, look at how their body is moving, look at how they sing. They must have bad intentions, they must not have good intentions. Like, literally all that you guys are doing is you're interpreting my body language. Well, not my body language, I keep saying that, my bad. You're interpreting my language as, oh, she doesn't care about victims, which I don't even understand how their logic even works because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't. It does not make any sense at all. Like, how does somebody calling people blind for not believing victims mean that they don't care? I don't get that. And just because I'm not sobbing in every post doesn't mean I don't give a fuck. I list hotlines, I list links. I have talked before about other things on this channel, but I have deleted the post. I was like, what did I say? Hold on. Man, I say too much on here. Like, but that's just how I show I care. I don't know how to show I care any other way. I mean, what do you want me to do? Say, I want to give Timothy a big fat hug. I feel so bad. Like, I don't talk like that. So I don't know what you want me to do. I don't know what you want me to say. The best way I can show I care is by making posts saying, I don't agree with this. I don't agree with that. This is wrong. Here's victim blaming. Here's fact. That's the only way how I know to communicate. That's just how I communicate, guys. Like, I don't understand why that is so hard to believe. I don't know why people want to just accuse me of things. I don't know what I'm doing wrong that's making people think that, but for some reason, not everyone actually gets what I'm trying to say, why I'm doing it. It's just like, I mean, whether you're a fan or not, I just, I don't know, man. Just stop trying to accuse me of shit. Like, I don't care if you're a fan of Sabrina and not Melanie. Just stop trying to accuse me of shit, all right? Like, y'all don't know me personally. You don't get to decide why someone's doing something, what their intentions are. You don't get to pick apart someone's language. You don't get to do that, okay? It's clear to someone who actually had a brain and actually had intelligence would realize, because if you had there's something called, I forget what it's called, but it's a type of intelligence where someone is able to pick up someone's intentions by things. But I'm able to tell things like that because I'm an empath. I'm able to tell someone's intentions and I can sense energy and stuff like that. So I don't get why this is such a thing I even have to explain. I mean, I thought it was pretty obvious that that was my intentions, but I don't need to sob and cry every 5 minutes to show that I care about Timothy or that I need to show that I care about victims. I show I care in the personal way that I show I care by bringing up points, by making content, by like spreading awareness, by giving, hotlines, links, sharing what they have to say. This is the best way I know how to do it. This debunking things that people say, this is the best way that I know how. I don't know how else to show care. Okay? That's just how I defend people. It's exactly how I defended my friends when they were being falsely accused of being a gaslighter and a liar. Like, I made a thread using facts and psychology facts why they were acting the way that they were. That's just because that's just how I am. That's how I show. I don't always sob and cry and say, I must hug this person. And there is a part of me behind the scenes that wants to hug Timothy because I care so much. I care so much. Like, I'm like, I wish I could hug her. I wish, I hope she's okay. Like, you think I don't have thoughts like that? I absolutely do. But that's not for public, where I'm thinking, I hope these people are all doing okay. Sorry, I kind of had to pause it for a second. But yeah, my point of this video is that just because someone comes off headstrong or aggressive and wants to make content about something does not mean that they don't care. Like, sure, I may have made some mistakes and I may have not have reacted in the best way, but that does not mean that I'm lying about my intentions or I don't have good intentions. Okay? Like, at the end of the day, I am just a stranger. You do not know me, and it is not right to accuse me of doing something like that when you don't actually know me. Like, I don't get it personally. I mean, if that's the kind of opinion you want to have about me, okay, but that doesn't mean it's true because this person's trying to play it off as channels like this don't care, which isn't true because everyone is different and you cannot put words in people's mouths without proof. And I find it ironic that this person wants to say that, but then like they wanted to say about me, accusing that person of being a Melanie fan, but then they're over here accusing me. So like you're kind of a hypocrite if I'm going to be quite honest. Anyways, there's nothing really wrong with what I'm doing or what I did except for some things. I can admit I could have done some things better, but I would just like to leave this behind me now. I don't want anything to do with Melanie. I don't want anything to do with any of this. I just want to move on, start my career, forget about all this. Which just shows that I am not doing this for intention because if I was, I would have continued doing it. But channels like this is not really something I wanted to do with my life. I just want to get off here now. Which I had been thinking that back when I made that post that they commented under. The first video I made, because this was months ago, I was like, yeah, I kind of don't want to do this anymore. Because it's stressful. And I hope that this video makes people realize that my intentions were good. And for the people who don't believe me, I don't know why you would think I'm lying. I don't know what you think I would gain from lying. But I'm not lying, and you do not get to make that assumption about me because you do not know me. And that's all I have to say. And this is hopefully, planningly, my last video on here. And I hope all you guys stay safe. You know what I mean? And I'm going to be gone because I don't want anything to do with this anymore. Goodbye. Stay safe, guys.